Elon Musk just humiliated Stephen Miller. And yes, it's because of his wife. The drama is messy, public, and now it's spilling straight into the Doge hearings. Elon's name is suddenly off limits, and the GOP is scrambling to pretend he was never in charge. But before we show you the latest news, Jasmine Crockett tells us what happened before, and she's about to light this thing up.
You can't just bring in your good little friend who helped you get elected to the tune of $300 billion or $300 million and say, hey guy, you get to do whatever you want to, despite what these duly elected people have done. But I digress. But I am going to get back to Elon, because Elon is looming over every single Doge hearing. You know why? Because that's supposedly what Elon was heading up. But now they don't want to talk about Elon, because Elon now is a little upset. There's a family spat that's obviously going on, and it is going to play out, it seems like, all over Twitter. But nevertheless, let's talk about some of the things that we should be talking about. And you know what? Every time I come in here, I really do wonder, what is the point? Like, why are we here? Because it doesn't seem like we're doing efficiency, right? Like, have we seen Elon? No. Have we seen anybody that works for Doge? No. But we're in the Doge subcommittee and we're talking to everybody but the Doge people. So to hear the comments about Stacey Abrams, it really got me going. And a lot of times when we come into this hearing room, it's all about politics. And it made me think that there was an issue most likely with Stacey, because someone actually brought up the fact that Stacey has run for governor a couple of times. And it seems like there's a gubernatorial race that's coming up in Georgia, and nobody knows whether or not Stacey is going to run. So why not muddy the water if we can, to hopefully keep a strong black woman down?
Oh, buckle up, because Jasmine Crockett is about to drop some truth bombs, and it's gonna be loud. You can literally hear the Republicans squirming in their seats. She's calling out the billionaire buddy system, dragging Elon Musk without even saying his full name, and tossing nuclear-level shade at this whole Doge subcommittee circus. And when she brings up Stacey Abrams, oh, they're shaking. These people don't want answers. They want distractions. But Jasmine, she's not here to play.
But again, I digress. So let's talk about the things that we could be talking about while we sit here in the Doge committee. It seems like we could be talking about things like efficiency or oversight. When announcing this hearing, the chairwoman stated the Doge subcommittee would, quote, continue bringing long overdue transparency and accountability to those who abuse tax dollars. But so far this Congress, Republicans have focused their oversight responsibilities on things like defunding Big Bird, as well as attacking, of course, trans kids, because they're really the big threat that we have. We could be talking about how the Trump administration is ignoring these court orders, supporting American citizens, or targeting members of Congress for prosecution, or how Trump signed an order deregulating the cryptocurrency industry just as his family launched a digital currency. We could be having a hearing on how Trump fired members of the National Labor Relations Board for bringing a suit against Elon Musk, or how the Trump administration dismantled the Office of the Federal Contract Compliance while the office was investigating Tesla for alleged racial harassment, or how Trump dropped lawsuits against numerous large companies after they donated to his inaugural fund. We could have a hearing on whether Trump violated the emoluments clause when he not only, it seemed like he asked for a $400 million jet from a foreign government. Trump has put a for sale sign on the lawn of the White House and has allowed wealthy donors to dictate how the government operates. That's what we should be having a hearing about, but nope. They're here attacking nonprofits that deliver food to seniors and disabled folk, provide childcare and elder care for working families, job training for teens, and shelter for the unhoused.
Boom. Jasmine Crockett just brought a flamethrower to a hearing about Dogecoin. While Republicans are out here panicking about Big Bird and drag shows, Trump was deregulating crypto for his family's digital coin hustle. Oh, and deporting US citizens while pocketing donations like it's a Black Friday sale at Mar-a-Lago. Crockett's not just ranting, she's listing actual scandals that somehow don't get a hearing, like Trump asking for a $400 million jet from a foreign government. Subtle. Meanwhile, the GOP's big priority, shutting down nonprofits that feed seniors and help teens get jobs, because obviously they're the real threat. And speaking of messy priorities, now we get to Elon Musk versus Stephen Miller, the world's strangest catfight. Next up, a public meltdown over Dogecoin, Trump betrayal, and a man who still thinks deregulating billionaires is draining the swamp. You're gonna want to see this one.
We lost Mr. Miller to a meeting in the Oval Office. Perfectly understandable. When I was in government, it would happen all the time. You'd have to kill a TV show and You're at the president's beck and call. However,
oh, come on. You know it's bad when even Fox News is out here making excuses like, Stephen had to go to the Oval Office, totally normal, not a panic exit at all. Nope, this wasn't a schedule conflict. It was a full-blown escape route. Miller straight up bailed on Fox mid-spin session. And why? Because the Trump team is in meltdown mode over Elon's latest move. Whatever happened behind the scenes, it's got everybody ducking cameras like it's a subpoena. Fox was supposed to be their safe space, and now even that's too hot to handle. Yeah, they're embarrassed. And it shows. And trust me, what Elon just did, that's what sent them running.
Elon Musk unfollows Stephen Miller on Twitter as he takes his wife. After days of unsubtle back and forth on X, Musk has now unfollowed Stephen Miller. The change in status occurred sometime between 1 p.m. on Thursday when X account Big Tech Alert publicized its discovery. The news comes 1 week after Musk reportedly poached Miller's wife, Katie Miller, who left Doge to work for him full-time.
So now, the article reveals a whole new layer of the chaos. Turns out, Elon Musk didn't just hire Stephen Miller's wife, he poached her. Full-time, right out of Doge. Savage move. And this all came after days of weird, passive-aggressive back and forth on X. Elon and Miller pretending not to be beefing, while very clearly beefing. But here's where it gets interesting, because right after that quiet power grab, Elon made a very public move. That basically confirms everything, and it happened. With just one click, yep, you're gonna want to see what he did next.
However, as of 3:55 p.m. on Thursday, Miller still follows Musk, meaning the sudden unfollowing is one-sided, at least for now. The unfollowing may be one-sided, but it's hardly unexpected. Miller has spent most of his time doing everything he could to thwart the former Doge administrator, staunchly defending Trump's big beautiful bill after Musk called it an abomination. Without naming Musk explicitly, Miller took to X on Wednesday to correct his criticisms of the big beautiful bill after Musk told reporters he felt the bill undermined Doge's work. Miller also called the bill the most essential piece of legislation in generations. Of course, there's also a personal undercurrent to their professional tension thanks to Katie Miller's career change.
So here's where it gets awkward. Elon Musk unfollowed Stephen Miller on X, but Miller still hanging on like a sad ex, refreshing his notifications. It's a one-sided breakup, and no one's surprised. Miller's been bending over backwards defending Trump's big beautiful bill, while Elon's out there calling it an abomination. Of course, Miller didn't name names, but his little post correcting the misinformation was basically subtweeting Elon in all caps. He even called the bill the most essential legislation in generations. Calm down, Stephen, it's not the moon landing, but this isn't just about bills. It's very personal now, because Elon didn't just criticize Miller's work, he probably took his wife too, that's right. Katie Miller left Doge to go work full-time for Elon. So after all that tension, all those weird digs on X, Elon sealed it with a very public message, unfollowed. And yes, it's dumb that we gauge political drama through Twitter buttons, but these people treat social media like it's international diplomacy. Elon's been losing influence in the admin, Stephen's gaining it, and Trump literally told foreign leaders this is the guy running everything, while Elon stood right there. Oof, now Jared Moskowitz is about to torch the whole Doge operation. Watch this.
What have we made more efficient in the 6 months that Doge has been around? Yeah, there are things we have found that shouldn't exist, but name a department, name a system, name a service that this committee or the caucus or Elon has made more efficient. They said they were going to find $1 trillion. They fell 85% short. Look, government is inefficient, but the Doge caucus and process was like, hold my beer. Let me show you what inefficiency really looks like, okay? The Doge caucus hasn't met in months. It had 2 meetings. Congress wasn't involved at all in the process in the executive branch. Elon's gone, the effort's dead, buried rigor mortis is setting in. I feel sorry, ill talking of the dead. I shouldn't do that. But I mean, seriously, the Newark airport, that is the key example for the American people. You want to talk about how did we make government more efficient? We didn't. We made government, the Newark airport.
And here it comes. Jared Moskowitz is officially done playing nice. After calling out the dysfunction, he sets his sights directly on Elon Musk and the rotting mess that is the Doge caucus. This isn't just shade, this is a full-on roast. Because remember, Elon promised to fix government inefficiency. What did we get? A $1 trillion fantasy that fell flat, and a committee that hasn't met in months. And Moskowitz? He sums it all up in one brutal metaphor: Newark Airport. If you've been there, you already know. That's the ultimate insult.
And by the way, now that the national divorce is happening with Elon Musk, and I'm a child of divorce, okay? I mean, who's going to get big balls? I'm worried about him in the divorce. The children always get caught in the middle, right? And so I just, if he's out there, I just want him to know we're rooting for him. Certainly, we've not made FEMA more efficient. The administrator apparently doesn't know there's a hurricane season. Wait till he finds out there's 5 categories. We're going to blow his mind. Nothing has been made more efficient by Doge. No new technology in any of these departments. No lower costs. Hasn't happened, right? We promised to tackle the national deficit and debt. They haven't done that. They've made it worse by the big, bloated abomination bill, okay? I mean, Elon has turned on them, but he's telling the truth. The bill will add to the deficit, and it will add to the debt.
Moskowitz is still going, and somehow he's getting even more brutal. He's dragging Doge for failing at every promise. No savings, no innovation, no clue that hurricane season is a thing. He even compares the fallout to a national divorce. And yes, he's worried about big balls in the custody battle. It's ridiculous, but also weirdly accurate. And while Elon is suddenly acting like he never backed the Doge disaster, Moskowitz is spelling it out. This bill adds to the debt, not solves it. And just when you think he's done, nope, the next part hits even harder.
Listen, I ask my colleagues, point to me one thing we've made more efficient. If you want to drop the E from Doge, because we've not done efficiency, that's fine. We can rename it. We can always rebrand. They're great at that. But nothing has been made more efficient. Here are the wins for congressional Republicans. You ready? They're going to do a $9 billion rescission bill. Okay, which they're going to get rid of Elmo, which the American people were clamoring for, okay? But they're going to add $2.4 trillion to the debt, $9 billion versus $2.4 trillion. And then they want us to cheer for them and give them a trophy like they were a 5-year-old at a soccer game. Everyone gets a trophy for their participation, okay? By the way, these things I'm bringing up, Republicans themselves, including the chairwoman, have expressed their frustration that Congress has not codified anything at all. And so, look, it's interesting. Elon just retweeted this. When are we going to flatten the curve? It's fascinating. We're using COVID graphics and COVID slogans. This is the debt. This isn't COVID cases, okay? And yet, my Republican colleagues who have always talked about the debt and deficit, I went out, I bought the debt clock that Thomas Massey wears, $99, by the way. I don't know if that's a great deal, but like 2-hour battery life. He told me you gotta if you dim the screen, it'll last a little longer. Wow, it's still going up. Doesn't seem like these Doge cuts, right, or this rescission bill have handled anything with a debt or deficit. And so
Moskowitz is calmly dismantling the GOP's idea of a win. They cut $9 billion while adding $2.4 trillion to the debt. That's not fiscal responsibility. That's a calculator throwing up. And sure, Elmo's out, so mission accomplished? He riffs on rebranding Doge by just dropping the E because efficiency clearly left the building months ago. Then Elon jumps in, retweeting old COVID charts to talk about debt now. Honestly, these folks would use a pandemic meme to explain a pothole. Moskowitz wraps it all with a dry jab, a bipartisan pitch, delivered like a mic drop.
Yeah, look, yeah, Elon is, we love dark Elon now. Oh yeah, this is interesting times, right? And Republicans will say, oh wait, he was a patriot. He left his companies, he was doing the right thing. That's what they said for 6 months. Now they're saying, well, he's just mad because he's losing his EV credits. He didn't get his Starlink thing. They got rid of his NASA administrator, okay? Look, we got to do this together, guys, on a bipartisan basis to tackle the debt. I asked the Speaker to put a budget commission together to get Democrats and Republicans on a bipartisan basis to tackle the debt. But that bill should die. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
And there it is. Moskowitz puts a bow on the whole circus with a cool, ironic smirk. Republicans spent 6 months calling Elon a patriot. Now, he's just some bitter billionaire who lost his EV credits and didn't get his Starlink funding. Apparently, when Elon was echoing MAGA talking points, he was a national hero. But the moment he steps out of line, they're ready to throw him out of the group chat. It's a wild pivot, and Moskowitz calls it out without even breaking a sweat. He ends with an actual grown-up idea. Build a bipartisan commission to tackle the debt. You know, governing. But even that can't distract from the obvious. The bill is a disaster. And he's right. It should be dead on arrival. So yeah, if you're enjoying watching this whole mess fall apart in real time, go ahead and subscribe. We've got a lot more unraveling to track and what's coming next. Let's just say, Trump might want to cancel a few golf games. Because what's about to drop in the next video, it's not just embarrassing, it's politically devastating.